Now, in an appearance by the self-described Twitter villains, Milo Yiannopoulos and former Turing CEO Martin Shkreli, also known as the Pharma Bro, or also known as the most hated man on the internet, did not end up going on very well. Now, Raw Story reports that a planned stop at UC Davis on Yiannopoulos' tour had to be canceled on Friday night due to a lot of protests on campus. Now, according to SFist, Milo supporters and members of the Davis College Republicans claimed that the event was shut down over safety concerns. So they couldn't guarantee the safety, or so they claim, couldn't guarantee the safety because of the protests of Milo Yiannopoulos or Martin Shkreli, and that actually is proven right. It's proven right. Now, that, of course, did not stop Martin Shkreli for showing up anyway and getting hit in the face by what possibly could have been dog poop. Could have been. We don't know. But if it was, it would cap off what would be considered a pretty crappy day. Now, aside from that, there was some actual violence. There were some clashes between Milo supporters and protesters that were against him. According to ABC 10, there was one confirmed arrest, but it's not clear what side the person who was arrested belonged to. There were also several fights that were reported to have broken out, and some people were reportedly taken out of the building by police forcefully. So you also had reports from ABC 10 that claimed that one protester had allegedly thrown hot coffee at their crew, their camera crew, and equipment. So look, hey, like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're for pro-Milo, if you're anti-Milo, don't throw coffee at people. Don't throw coffee at reporters or their equipment. That shit's expensive, dude. Don't do that. You might hurt someone. Their whole point of being there is to report what's going on. Don't do that, okay? And besides, unlike dog poop, coffee can actually hurt somebody. But look, at the end of the day, let's be honest, let's not get into fights, let's not throw things at people. Even if you and everyone else around feels like that person deserves it, don't do it. And trust me, I don't think anybody deserves dog poop in the face more than Martin Shkreli. That guy has a uniquely punchable face. But I wouldn't recommend punching him. I'm just saying, don't do it. And the reason that I'm saying this, even though it might be an unpopular opinion, is that you're going to give them ammunition. You're going to help their cause. You see, there's nothing more than these guys like is to be the victim, like to be the heel. They relish this. Shkreli loves this. Yiannopoulos loves being the victim, man. They love it. They eat it up. And now, of course, since there were some violent clashes, one person arrested, Yiannopoulos comes out later and says, supporters of Yiannopoulos came out and said, there were hammers, smashed windows, and barricades that were being torn away. These protesters were so horribly violent that we just don't know what to do. Man, Milo had to get out of there. I understand. He had to get out of there. The violent protesters, tolerant liberals. Well, no, that's actually not what happened. Yes, as I mentioned before, there were violence, there were some fights between supporters, protesters, and attendees. But there were no smashed windows, there were no hammers. In fact, UC Davis came out and said these allegations completely false. And there's, of course, that one arrest. Now, and look, people who don't believe that or might not believe that, you got to think, if there was a riot, if there was all that stuff, you don't think the cops and the media would be all over it? Of course they would. They love making protesters look bad. And in this case, there wasn't really a whole lot to make them look worse. For, again, the fighting that we don't know what side started the scuffles between those two sides to begin with. And frankly, it doesn't really matter. Don't do it. Don't get into fights with people. But now, supporters of Yiannopoulos also said that this cancellation of the event is censorship. That is that classic thing, man. The victim, right? Being the victim. You know what it's not? It's a lot of things, but it's not censorship. Now, censorship is actually when the government comes in to shut you down. Did the government shut them down? No. No. When the people shut you down, which is what happened here, well, That's completely different. However, look, I might actually make you guys mad by saying this, but I actually do believe that Yiannopoulos has a right to be able to speak at that school. He should have a chance, I should say. Maybe not a right, but a chance. And the reason I say that is because in college, you're supposed to be exposed to different viewpoints, even if those viewpoints are endemically terrible or don't agree with your own. And look, Milo, he's got some viewpoints that are very hateful and inflammatory. I don't like them at all. That said, he should be allowed to speak there, and protesters should also be allowed to protest there. Why? Because that is considered speech, free speech. Okay? They've got the right to protest with speech that they disagree with. And Milo and Shkreli have the right to do those speeches. So look, both sides here, you should be allowed to do your thing as long as it remains peaceful. Why? Because number one, it makes you look good in the face of the terrible things that the other side espouses. Number two, it doesn't give people like Milo a chance to play the victim. And they love it. They can't wait to be victimized. It's amazing. And they do it to garner people's sympathy, and they're actually really good at it. So, look, don't make him a victim. Don't make him a victim. The worst thing that you could do to people like Milo Yiannopoulos is to essentially ignore them. They're the internet trolls. They're the YouTube trolls. They love the attention, and you're not supposed to feed them. Martin Shkreli recently got suspended from Twitter. I didn't agree with that position either. But he loves his new victimhood, man, because he's a troll. And now, look, Milo Yiannopoulos is going on a book tour. He got a book deal because he's good at playing the victim. So, and look, now he's making bank off trolling you guys. Because that's what he does. He's a professional troll. Now, here's what you do. You got to fight them by fighting their ideas and not the personalities behind them. And look, it's easy to fall into doing exactly what they want you to do. To focus essentially all your hatred onto them personally. I mean, this guy wants you to be like, it makes me think of the scene from Star Wars. Milo Yiannopoulos is essentially the Emperor saying, you know, strike me down with all of your hatred. Your journey towards the dark side will be complete. You know, that's it. That's what he wants you to do. Because it actually makes his job easier. So as much as I like seeing people stand up to these people, I don't like the way that they're actually doing it because I don't see how it helps. So again, the best thing to do is you ignore these people. You ignore them, you don't give them the oxygen that they need. You don't give them the victimhood that they crave. And most importantly, don't get into fights, don't throw poop. As much as I enjoyed reading the reactions to people throwing the poop, you know, or think of it this way. I mean, this guy, he had to find the poop. He had to hold it and then wait for Shkreli. I mean, that was some planning. And as much as I love that, I cannot endorse it. I have to disagree with it and say that that is not the way that we should go. Don't throw poop. Don't make them a victim. What you need to do is you need to let these people hang themselves on their own words. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.